Hello everyone, my name is Sri Mulyani and today I will continue the material about quantitative research. Last week we already learned about experimental and non-experimental research in quantitative. So today I will continue the material about research proposal outline in quantitative research, and there are 12 outline here. Let's start from the first, it's about the background. In the background, it contains the issue of the research. The researchers must be able to demonstrate why this is needed to be researched. For example, we analyze the correlation between students' motivation and their speaking skills through Zoom application. So, issue of this research is about students' motivation and their speaking skills. This issue needed to research because during this pandemic COVID-19, we use virtual meeting and usually use Zoom application to learn. So we need to analyze whether this affect a student's motivation or not, and also to know about speaking skills. And then the second one, it's about the research question. Once the problem to be studied is found, what variables will be studied? Then problems to be studied need to be formulated specifically. Formulation of the problem stated in the question. For example, is there any significant correlation between students' motivation and their speaking skills? And then the third one, it's about the operational definition. In the operational definition, it's about the variables to be studied are defined or described in accordance with the research needs. For example, the definition of motivation. Motivation is a process to get success and has a great influence on future achievement in the teaching and learning process. Giving motivation to the students is a process to push and to support them to learn. Therefore, it can help the students to achieve their goals. And then the definition of speaking skills is a desire or a wish of a person to express ideas, opinions, and feelings to others, to negotiate, to solve problems, make and to maintain interaction, social relationship, and friendship. And then next, it's about the aims of the research. The aims of the research are closely related to the written problem formulation. For example, the research question is about is there any significant correlation between students' motivation and their speaking skills? So the aim of the research is to know there is a significant correlation between students' motivation in learning speaking and students' speaking. Alright, and the next one is about the use of the research. The use of the research is the impact of achieving goals. If research objectives can be achieved and the formulation of the problem can be answered, so what the benefit is? The use of research can be theoretical use and or practical use. For example, if the research objectives can be achieved and the problem formulation can be answered, this research will be used as a material consideration for students to increase motivation in learning speaking and student speaking skills. And then the next, it's about the literature review. It contains relevant theories that can be used to explain about the variables to be studied, as well as basic to provide a temporary answer to the formulation of the problem posed or hypothesis and the preparation of research instruments. And then the next one, it's about the research method. In accordance with the background, research question, and the aim of the research, determine the appropriate research method and state the reason. For example, in research method, the research will use the correlational method because to know students' motivation in learning speaking as the independent variable and students' are speaking skills as the dependent variable. And the next one, it's about the population and sample. The population and sample, it's about to describe the data source in a form of population and describe how to determine sample from the population. For example, the population of this research will be all students in the second grade of SMPN to Tasik, for example, and there are 4 classes in the second grade, and each class consists of 20 female and 10 male as a sample taken by using proposed sampling techniques. The first purpose of this technique is the students have the same levels of intelligence in English. Moreover, the study used proposed sampling as a result of the research has restricted time, energy, and quantity. And then the next, it's about the time and place of the research. It's about when and where you will conduct the research. And then the next one, it's about the research procedure. And research procedure, it is about how you will conduct the research and describe in detail. For example, the first you will selecting the problem, for example, the title or the problem that the researcher interested in, and then the second one is choosing a sample. Sample is a part of population, and then selecting instruments, it's about tool or facility to collecting data, and then determine design and procedure. It's about how the researcher will conduct the research, and then collecting data. It's about the ways to collect data, and then analyzing data. It's about the what techniques of analyzing data will be used to test the hypothesis, and then the last one, it's about the interpreting result. It's about the result of the research, and then the next, it's about the data collection. In the data collection, it's described about the way you collect or obtain the data, what instrument will be used, and what or why. For example, use questionnaire. In responding to the questionnaire, students are asked to choose one of the options by giving a mark or checklist. And then the last, it's about the data analysis. It explains about what techniques of analyzing data will be used to test the hypothesis. For example, the research analyzed by using Pearson correlation coefficient going computed to determine and find out the correlation between students' motivation in learning speaking and their speaking skills. Pearson correlation coefficient is one technique that is usually used to find out the significance of correlation between two variables. Alright, that's about the research proposal outline in quantitative research, and thank you for your kind attention.